Hey guys, after we finished our lesson, I realized that our data pieces in section 3.2 were a little larger than I expected because I felt like we needed to go ahead and understand how to do this, the, d- the standard deviation with smaller data pieces. But because they are kind of a little longer than I anticipated, I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick tutorial on how to use Stats Crunch. And if you notice on number 6 is the one I'm going to do, we're listing dollars amounts of the cost of marriage proposal packages in different baseball stadiums. And so here they are listed. If you notice, there's a little button beside, and if you click on that button, it will open another window. And you click on Open in Stats Crunch. And so it puts that data into a chart for you. And when I do that, then I can do all of the information, find the answers for the information that I need. So if you notice, this one is actually listed in ascending order, but if they weren't, you can click on your data and you can click on sort and you can select your column that you want. And so I'm going to select my first column, and it's called variance one, and then I'm just going to tell it to compute. And notice that in this case, my data pieces didn't change because it was still in it was already in ascending order anyway. But then I can quickly calculate the range by subtracting. I'll go ahead and do the 2,500 minus the 37. And minus 37 gives me then where I can come back and I can input that range of the $2,463. Now, because we are in dollars, that means that my units will also be in dollars. And then I can check my answer. But then next one is asking me for my standard deviation. So go back to your stats crunch, and underneath the applets, you'll see that there's a mean/standard deviation. If you click on that button, click on it that you want to find it from the table, and our column will be var 1. And we want to go ahead and make sure we select the standard deviation button and then tell it to compute. And then notice it'll give me a nice chart. It shows me that I do have two outliers, and that's going to be significant for the next problem that we have. But also, if you notice, I can find the median, I can find the mean, the median, and also standard deviation. And so then I would just need to go back and put those back into my answer. So it'll be 685. And then I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. So since mine's 0.67, I'll go ahead and go 0.7. And then it is also in dollars because standard deviation will always be the same unit as your data pieces. But then the next step, I'm going to look for my variance. And to me, it's a lot easier just to grab your calculator out and then type in your standard deviation. Remember, variance is the standard deviation squared. So I'll do the 685.7, and then I'll square that on my calculator. And I get then, mine is going to be 470,184. And I have 0.49, so I'm going to have to go 0.5. But now remember, my units will also have to be squared as well. So I'll change that from dollars to dollars squared. And then notice that we do have, especially when you look at our graph, we have some outliers that are affecting our variation. And so when I look at my next step, are there outliers? If so, definitely the answer is not C because there are outliers. And we know that they are going to be larger. So in other words, this first one with it say the smaller amounts are going to affect it. It's really going to be your higher amounts in this case that are affecting it. And so then you want to look to see if it is not likely to have effect on the measured variation, and it will have effect on the variation for that. So my answer has to be then D. I hope this helped.